Hello, it's Jane here, and I'm back in the kitchen because, to be honest, it's perishing out there. It's absolutely freezing. I mean, I've just got in from taking Rocky for a walk. I can feel my cheeks are still stinging, so if I look a little bit pink-cheeked, that's why. And I know, I mean, it's middle of February, and there's vast swathes of the UK are covered in snow. As indeed are other parts of the world. I mean, is it the east side of America? My goodness me. But we've got nothing but these really, what I'm calling lazy snowflakes. They're just sort of drifting down, but not in any particular direction. They can't really be bothered. And the reason I keep looking up there is because the skylight's up there. And I don't even think there's any landed. I think they melt before they land. But nevertheless, it's cold. And when it's cold like this, I am so nesh. Unless it's a really desperate job or something, you know, quite warming that needs doing up at the allotment, I'd far rather be sitting in the kitchen and doing it here. So today I am going to be talking about something that, if you know me, if you've seen my channel and followed my videos for some time, you will know. I start off with all good intentions as far as my labelling goes. I would say by halfway through the season, that's all gone out the window, and I don't know which plant's which, and you know, it's a bit of potluck, to be honest, is what grows on what plant. So this year, I promised myself that I would get to grips with it. And to start with, the very first thing I need to do, because I'm terrible for potting up plants and not actually having any labels to hand, so I thought this year, as I've cleaned the greenhouse, which I did a couple of episodes back, and as I've gone round clearing up the shed, clearing up the beds and everything, I've been picking up labels as I go and putting them all together and thinking to myself, at some point I'm going to clean those so they're all ready to write on for the coming season. So I've got them all here, and what I thought I'd do today was just talk you through my labels. Does that sound exciting? That's like when I was teaching, occasionally we'd do a science lesson and the topic was rocks and soils. I mean, I'm not surprised, there's not many scientists out there from the UK. What a deathly dull topic. It's actually quite interesting once you got started, but I think the PR needed to change. Anyway, which label to use, when to use it, how to use it, and most importantly, how to reuse it by cleaning your label. So basically, I have got here a whole load of different sorts of labels, including, yes, oh, it's broken, the naughty plastic label, but even this has its place in the garden and actually has quite a big place in my garden. I've got the plastic labels, I have got bamboo cutlery that I actually followed people around at an event I was at over a year ago now, it must have been over a year, and asked if they were going to use their knife or their spoon because I was collecting them. They've been okay, so I've got them. I've got these larger plastic poke in the ground ones. I've got a couple of wooden ones, and oh, Christmas money this year I have treated myself to the ultimate behemoth, which is some slate ones. Not even just slate ones, but slate ones with very posh, can't get them off now, hooks, crooks, stands for them to hook on. Tricky to do. I don't know how I'm going to get on with these. They look lovely. I can't even... Here's one I did earlier. I can't even get it on the stand. Oh yes, you go that way. You start from the bottom. There we are. And I just thought they'd be really nice. But I'm sort of a bit disappointed already because when they arrived, that one had a big chip in it because they're very brittle. But let me talk you through what I use. I think the thing is, when you're actually starting to sow your seeds, don't think, oh, I'll do the labelling later on. Have everything to hand. So have a pot like this, little plant pot if you're in the greenhouse, let's put that there. Anything, little box, little tin, to put these in, but not just your labels, something to write on them with, okay? pencil, Sharpie, or any other sort of permanent marker, okay? Because as soon as you have potted your seeds, you are going to want to, she says, write on your label and put it in your seeds. Saying that, these are the chilies I sowed several weeks ago now, about 4 weeks ago. And can you see what's missing? A label. Because I was, oh, they're not even chilies. Oh, there we go. There we go. That's how easy it is to get mixed up. They're actually my sweet peppers. Oh my goodness, what a good job I'm doing this video. That's reminded me. Okay, sweet peppers, yes, no label. And the reason was not just because I was lazy, but the reason was, I'm trying to think of a reason now. I just didn't have one to hand. They were all up at the allotment. So I thought to myself, oh, it's all right. I know what they are. They're my sweet peppers. Forgotten again, completely, as you know. I mean, I've made a note of it in my garden journal, but I know they're called Marconi Red, and I've made a note of when I've sowed them. But it's all very well when you've just got one pot of something. But what then happens if, as it will do in the next few weeks, we start getting lots and lots of pots on the windowsill? Then you're not going to know your peppers from your chilies or anything. So look at that. That has now got a label in. What I've used on this, I'm taking it out again now, look at that. What I've used on this is just a bog standard HB pencil. Right, next thing to say about it. So this is at the very, very early stage when you're first sowing your seeds. Once you've got that label in, think to yourself, that's not job done. You've now got 1, 2, 3, I've got about 14 peppers in there. When these come out, they are going to be repotted, maybe 2 or 3 a pot, maybe just 1 a pot, depending on how many pots I've got and how much time I've got. But each one of those pots is then going to have to be labelled again. So you need more labels again. That one label will not see you right to the end of your pepper season. Okay, so yeah, and in small pots like that, or your first starter pots, I find these labels are fine. I know they're plastic, and yeah, we're all trying to not use plastic in our gardens. And these are pretty new, so I must have bought these fairly recently. But they are reusable. You can reuse them. As long as you're careful, you look after them, look after your labels. You can reuse them for many seasons to come. I'll come back onto that in a minute. You can get different colours. A yellow label, nice and bright. In fact, somewhere I've got a bag that's got lots of different coloured labels in, and I couldn't quite work out why you would do that to begin with. But I suppose you could colour code, couldn't you? You could have all your fruit could be red, all your brassicas could be green. You know what I mean? So you would know as soon as you walked into your greenhouse or wherever you were doing your seedlings, that's the brassica section. It's like an orchestra, isn't it? Brassica section over there, tomato section over there, chilies over there. So yeah, so you could colour code them. So that's another option. The other things though that you might get sucked into buying, as indeed I did, were these really, really pretty little wooden labels. Now, it might be that I am using these wrong, but I found with these wooden ones, and I've got to be honest, even with the bamboo cutlery, not only can you not remove your wording afterwards, so once you've used it, unless you then turn it the other way, and then the other way, and then the other way, and use it 4 times if you can, you can't remove the writing. So in that way, they're single use. But also, I mean, you know, you can say, well, they're natural fibres. It doesn't matter if you throw them, you can put them on the compost heap. That's fine, but they are single use for me. The other thing I find with these, the other problem I get with these is I get mould. Get mould around the base, and yeah, even on the bamboo, which feels smoother and feels like it wouldn't soak up too much damp, it seems to get mould on it. So I've got to be honest, I will use these up because of the shame of following people around with a little bag saying, can I have your cutlery please? Unused, well, some of it wasn't. Yeah, I'll use them up. But I've got to say, at this point, the plastic wins it for me. I know it's really unpopular, and I'm so sorry, David Attenborough, but you know, I will reuse them and reuse them. So yeah, so think of the size as well. So they are great for when you start sowing your seeds, when you start potting on. Let me see, let me get my spider plant here. This size pot, fine. And you see what I mean? That's just about the right size. You can get all sorts of different sizes. These are slightly smaller, okay? But once then, put it back. Once then you start to plant outside in the ground, or your polytunnel or wherever, and you know that your plant is going to get reasonably big, fingers crossed, you're going to want to have something that is a little bit more visible, I would say. And so that's when I find things like this come in handy. So you can have that at the end of, say, your bean row. You can put that at the end. You're not going to have to mark every single bean. If you've got a row of beans and they're all one variety, you just put one of these at the end. And even rather than put it in the ground, and we did this with the beans last year and with a lot of the squash, attach it to something. Put it on a bamboo cane so it's standing up a bit. Okay, so you can see it clearly, because by the time your beans have reached 6 foot, 7 foot, you are not going to want to be scrabbling around on the ground for a tiny little thing like that, that probably a fox will have run off with, or Rocky will have dug up or buried. Okay. So yeah, think about what you're going to be using your labels for. You are going to be needing a variety of sizes. Even if you buy a little thing from the shops, this was a little pot of zinnias I bought. Oh, that was a few years ago. I didn't do them last year because these didn't do very well. And you always get a little sticker in them. You know, even if I'm not growing zinnias this year, I can use that side. That's blank, so I'll use that side. I can use it again. Think about reusing. I remember when I went to, I think it was the Gardener's World exhibition a couple of years ago. And I thought, oh, I need a few labels, you know, get up my arsenal and get some labels and get really ready for the season. And I walked into this stall for labels, and my chin must have hit the ground. I said to the lady behind the stall, can I help you? I said, yes, please, I need some labels. Well, you can imagine. Excuse me. So there were so many colours, so many sizes, so many shapes, so many materials, you know. I really wish I could go there again now. I mean, sadly, I don't think we're going to get to see a garden show this year, maybe towards the end of the year. And know in my mind what I would want, because I would get a selection. I'd get a selection of sizes again. These sort of things, the plastics, I know, a variety of colours. Again, you can colour code. Oh, look, I did a bit of semaphore. Anyway, so yeah. And then, of course, poshy galoshy, these lovely things, which were a treat. These were some of my Christmas money as a treat. I did think I would use these for the bean rows, but I think by the time I have written something on there, I'm not going to want to keep cleaning these and put something new on again. So I might use these for more permanent things. So maybe, I don't know, the fruit bushes or the herbs or something like that. But I am a sucker for anything like that, even though they're probably not half as practical as the rest. So to reuse them then, all that basically means is you clean off what was on last year and have something new on this year. Okay, so what a lot of people do, and I know Mags Warrington put a video up about this. I only saw part of it, Mags, but I will watch it properly. And yeah, you can just put them in a plastic ones. You can put in a, where's your words, Jane? Where's your words? A bowl of water, warmish water with some bleach, and you can just stir them round. And if you're lucky, the writing will start to come off. Now, this has been in here for about 2 hours, and I must admit, I thought more would have come off by now. So I am going to have to watch your video, Mags, because let's just see. If I show you one that hasn't been in, and one that has been in for a little while longer. This one hasn't been in. This one has been in for about an hour and a half. You can see it's fading, so yeah, it works, it works. Okay, so another thing I'm going to try, and I must admit I haven't tried this on the chalk on the wood. I might give that a go. But I'm going to try some terps on these ones. Okay, that's what it should look like, nice and clean. Let me have a look. Have I got another one? No. I've got P Hurst green shaft. Right, let's get my terps out. Whenever I smell terps, it always makes me think I've been decorating, and I usually haven't, but it's a really evocative smell for me. It's like when you smell a new carpet, you feel like you've just moved house. More often than not, you haven't. Right, let's have a look. This is one, P. That's coming off rather nicely. Okay, something that would just, it probably would have come off in bleach. You know what, because it wasn't white, I didn't think of putting it in bleach. But that actually, is coming off quite nicely. So, okay, different ways of cleaning then. Soaking in bleach, a little bit of terps, try in the dishwasher, fingers crossed. If you're lucky, they might just wipe off. What I would use to mark things with, yeah, your pencil. That to me is the most reliable. A Sharpie or similar permanent marker. If you are going to use one of these black ones, she says, let's shake it first actually. You can get one of these liquid pens that they use in restaurants on the chalkboards and things like that. So if you're going to use a chalk label, let's just see how well this looks. What should I write? I'm just going to write Jane on the back of one, and then I can wear it. People say, oh, there she is. I think they say that anyway. I can't get the lid off now. How did I get the lid off before? Is it a funny one? Oh, that's ridiculous. Well, there's a blooper for you. That came off a minute ago, didn't it? Because bit of welly. Right, okay. Oh, I've got to say, that is quite nice to write with. And you get a nice clear text there. But whether that'll come off or not, I don't know, because it's permanent, isn't it? It's permanent. So I'm going to leave that to dry for a minute. See what happens. The other thing, yeah, with these slates, I got these little chalk pencils, which again look very nice, but I probably won't use them for this purpose because these are going to be outdoors. Another thing, and I promise I'll stop going on in a minute, another thing you can do is use tape on your pots. Different coloured tape. I know Nigel over at Muddy Boots uses like a yellow tape, and I think it's Nigel who numbers them. And so like all the pots that have got number 1 written on them might be his tomatoes. All the pots that have number 2 on might be a different sort of tomato. So he'll cross-reference them and just put numbers on his pots, which I think is ingenious. And if you've got a seed list like me, oh dear, that's the wrong one. Look at that. I've actually written a seed list, and theoretically I'm going to be writing when I sow everything and when I harvest it. It won't work. But the thoughts there again. But yeah, if you've got some sort of seed list, you can cross-reference, so you know that number 1 is your gardener's delight. You know that number 2 is your market more cucumber. Great, just do that. Right, okay, what else can you use? Again, we're trying not to buy new plastic. If you do, be aware that you need to think about using it. Please don't just use it once. Think about how you're going to reuse it and reuse it again. We've talked about wood, the difference between wood. It looks nice, but I don't rate it because you end up with just a mess and it can go mouldy. If you want to make your own labels, this seems to be the way to go. Use your, got one here, milk bottle. Cut them into strips. Use anything like this. So you could use the Tetra Packs cut them into strips. You could even use things like a margarine carton, anything that's plastic and that is going to be slightly waterproof and you can write on. You know, it doesn't have to be this shape, it doesn't have to be this colour. Use your imagination, you know, and don't underestimate how many you are going to need. Like I say with the chilies, you know, I only need 1 at the moment, but soon I'll need 14. So it's like there's exponential growth. And the last thing I want to say, and this is if you're really, really organised, which I'm not usually, but if you're really keen, you could even prepare your labels in advance. You could. You could have your seed list like this, and you could think, okay, I'm going to have, I don't know, how many radish shall I have? Oh no, here we go, Swiss chard, Ford Hook Giant. I might want 6 of those plants to pot on and pot on. I'm going to write 6 labels and then they're ready. And then the day I pop them on, I've got the labels ready in front of me. Don't do what I tend to do, which is go out into the middle of the plot, put something in and then think, oh, I must put a label in, get talking to someone, go home, forget all about it, and 3 weeks later wonder what the little seedlings are. It's not worth it. So just take that little bit of extra time. If you're just starting out to gardening, try and make it part of your routine. You know, try and make it an automatic thing, because otherwise you'll end up like me. And I've got a long bit of backtracking to do to get on top of it. So yeah, leaving those in bleach. I'll get these in bleach later on, and then I'll find a lovely tin, tub, pot, something to put everything in so it's all together and it's all to hand at all times. That was only going to be 5 minutes. I apologise. Anyway, I hope it's been a little bit useful to you. I know I'm teaching grannies how to suck eggs here, but if you are new to it, you might have just picked up a couple of things. So yeah, as ever, come and say hello on Instagram, come and say hello on Facebook. All my contact details are below there. And take care, get your labels ready, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.